Stonehenge, a 5,000-year enduring mystery with no written record as to who built the structure on the Salisbury Plains of England and why. Upon archaeological research, it appears that some of the stones came from 120 or so miles away, although exactly how they got to be so far away from home is decidedly unclear. Cue the theories. Hello and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I am your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I present to you the top 10 scary Stonehenge theories. Before we get into this tantalizing list, I want to ask you guys who you think built the ancient structure and why. I love a good theory. Also, while you're down there hanging out below down the video, why don't you leave a thumbs up and share this video with a friend. Also, why don't you click on that notification bell to be the first to watch a new Most Amazing video. Also, do be sure to check out our Most Amazing Instagrams. We have a link in the description box. Please do stick around to the end of this video where I'll be reading out some of your previous comments. Alright, let's do this. Stonehenge, what have you got? Coming in at number 10, starting strong, we have the devil, Beelzebub himself. According to a legend that stems back nearly 1,000 years, the devil himself is responsible for Stonehenge. The story goes that the stones belonged on the land of an Irish woman. The devil approached the woman in disguise and bargained for her stones, saying that he would give the woman all the gold she wanted while he was in the process of moving the stones away from her land. The woman, amused, agreed. She believed it would take the man a very long time to move the huge stones, if it was even possible at all. She imagined a year, 2 years, 10 years worth of gold while he was moving them, and she agreed. Of course, the devil is as the devil does, and he used his classic sorcery to move the stones from her land at the click of a finger. This was before the woman could get any of the gold that she was promised. She was upset, understandably. But what can she do? She made a pact with the devil. Another version of the tale says that the devil placed the stones by throwing rocks at a priest in a fit of rage. One of the rocks hit the priest's heel, leaving a footprint-like mark in one of the stones that is still visible today. Classic devil throwing stones at the priest. Bovine beasts up next. We have monster cows at number 9. Was Stonehenge built by a race of monster cows? Some people legit think so. Archaeologists have found wear patterns from ancient cow hooves near the site of Stonehenge, something that the cows were used as engines to transport stones 160 miles from Wales to Wiltshire. But these weren't just any cows, or so researchers claim. These were monster cows over twice the size of regular cows. These were a species called aurochs. It seems that one of these giant cows could provide food for 300 people. What if the hoof prints aren't from cows at all though? What if they're from some kind of different prehistoric monster? Perhaps they're from a fifth meat. Okay, you're only gonna get that joke if you listen to the Beef and Dairy Network podcast, but you absolutely should, it's one of my favourites. Yay! Coming in at number 8, we have time travel. If you have read or seen Outlander, it would be impossible not to think of the magic time-travelling stones of Craignadoon in Inverness. That being said, the concept of time travel being associated with Stonehenge extends far beyond Diana Gabaldon. Some believe that with the right knowledge and ritual, the stones can be used to travel through time. These days though, people would really struggle to use them for this purpose, as Stonehenge is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is fenced off from the general public. While you can look at the stones from the road, you can't touch the stones. You have to pay admission to even get close to them, and even then, the stones themselves are off limits for touching. Perhaps the whole time travel idea came from other suggestions that the stones were a rudimentary time measurement device. The stones are strangely aligned with the sunrise and sunset points in the summer and winter solstices, which leads us to our next point at number 7, we have the symmetry. There is something eerie going on with Stonehenge and its positioning that has increased the sense of myth, magic, wonder surrounding the mystery stones. As we know, they seem to align perfectly with the sunrise and sunsets during the shortest and longest days of the year. But beyond that, it seems to line up eerily with other sacred sites in the UK. British author John Mitchell pointed out the quote-unquote curious symmetry of the stones, and I have to say that, yeah, actually it is kind of curious. It seems that Stonehenge and Llanwit Major are equidistant from the town of Glastonbury, and perfectly straight lines, ley lines, can be drawn to other sites of significance. Stonehenge is at the centre of a network of ley lines, leading many to believe that it's some kind of powerful energy portal. Coming Coming into number 6, we have Merlin. Hello Merlin, what are you up to on this list? Oh, you're using your magical powers to build Stonehenge. Sweet. It seems that in the 14th century people thought the famous wizard was behind Stonehenge. Not only was Merlin responsible, it seems he stole the stones from the Irish. The Irish, they're here again. I suppose British associate the stones with the Irish because they were kind of mystical and foreign, and back then they thought that Ireland was a far off land alive with magic. Basically, Merlin was said to have constructed Stonehenge with the help of a giant as a memorial for the British subjects who were murdered by the Saxons during a truce. Back then people had a deeper belief of magic, using it to explain the unexplained. These days we have science, although science hasn't been able to give us a full explanation of Stonehenge yet, so you know what, why don't we just go with magic? Okay, so we touched on giants in the Merlin tale, but actually many people think that Stonehenge was entirely the work of giants. So at number 5, we have the ancient race, the NEPHILIM. The NEPHILIM were said to be a race of giants who walked the earth in its earlier times. Many believe that the NEPHILIM were almost entirely wiped out by the flood in Noah's Ark era. The rest were said to have retreated to caves and are hiding away to this day with a dwindling population. The argument for giants is that there is basically no way that humans could have moved the stones, especially 5,000 years ago, pre-wheel and pre-meaningful tools. The Stonehenge stones are roughly 25 tons each, so you know, really darn heavy. That's where giants come in. Simples, right? Never mind how Stonehenge was built, what was it used for? At number 4, we have the theory of ritual sacrifice. Ugh. Some people theorize that Stonehenge was an old Druid temple. The Druids were part of an ancient Celtic culture and were referenced in the 4th century BCE in literature. The Romans thought the Druids to be savage sorcerers like pagan bros. It seems that the Druids practiced ritual sacrifice and may well have also cannibalized their victims. Julius Caesar wrote that the Druids believed that the gods delight in the slaughter of prisoners and criminals, and when the supply of captives runs short, they sacrifice even the innocent. Those blasted Druids. Stonehenge is thought to have had religious significance, and pits containing animals and human remains have been found nearby. Some do argue the layout of Stonehenge is primed for ritual sacrifice. Savage as they may have been, other historians argue that the Druids weren't in this part of England at the time that Stonehenge was built. Who was doing the sacrifice then, and who was it for? Was it for the gods? Well, gods and their superstructures are coming in at number 3. Erich von Daniken wrote a book called Chariots of the Gods, in which he argues that a whole bunch of unexplainable megastructures, including Stonehenge, the giant heads on Easter Island, and the Egyptian pyramids, were created by godlike aliens, or just gods, or a race of superhumans that came before us that we don't know about. A lot of other conspiracy theorists think that either the gods placed the stones as a place for humans to worship them, or a prior and more superior ancient civilization built them, and the pyramids too. Coming in at number 2, we have the sex temple theory. Goodness me, is Stonehenge cheeky? In 2003, a researcher in Canada at the University of British Columbia concluded that Stonehenge was actually an ancient sex temple. Anthony Perks reached this thought as he realised the stones looked a bit vaginal. He said Stonehenge could represent symbolically the opening by which Earth Mother gave birth to the plants and animals on which the ancient people so depended. Others go even further with the whole fertility temple thing, and they believe that Stonehenge was the site of mass orgies. Let's just leave that one alone, shall we? Leave it right there. Finally, coming into number 1. Isn't this always at number 1? Our number 1 theory of all time. Aliens! Aliens. It was always going to come back to aliens, wasn't it? There are actually so many Stonehenge theories that include aliens rather than a definitive solid argument. There are just pieces of one over here and pieces of another over there. Some say that Stonehenge is a landing pad for alien spaceships. Others say that Stonehenge was a model of the solar system. Many think that the size and shape of the stones and the way in which they've been erected is a clear sign that an earlier, more advanced civilization placed them. Crop circles, stone circles, those aliens are up to it all, aren't they? So guys, that was the top 10 scary Stonehenge theories. Which do you think is the most likely to be true? Don't forget to let me know what you think, who you think laid all of the stones, in the comments section down below. Before I go, I'm just going to read some comments from the top 10 scariest things never to say to the police. This is what you had to say. Tevin Brooker said, "My favourite cop is Joe Swanson from Family Guy." why? A good choice. Rockass460 said Olivia Benson or Jane Rizzoli are my favourite detectives. Amazing, I also love that Taylor Swift named her cat after Olivia Benson. So cute. Sarah Koyora said, who else clicked as soon as they got the notification? Like this comment if you love Most Amazing. I like this comment. Stacey Rainey, the Blue Celtic Rose Gabs, had some valuable information to add to the video. They said, in some states, including Texas where I live, have CCLs or conceal and carry licenses. In this case, it is the law that you do tell an officer that you have a gun as soon as possible. To do this properly when pulled over in your vehicle, keep your hands up where the officer can see them and say something like, Officer, I have a CCL. My firearm is in the glove box under my car registration and my card is in my wallet in my purse beside me. Believe me, when done properly and with respect, police officers are going to thank you for your honesty and respect will be returned. But you are right, this is never something that should be said flippantly or in a threatening way. God bless and keep our first responders. Wow, that was a really interesting comment, and thank you for sharing that extra knowledge with us. I really appreciate it when you guys can add a little something extra to the conversation. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Do make sure you show me you liked it by leaving a thumbs up and sharing it with a friend, and don't forget to check out the links to our most amazing Instagrams in the description box. Stick around to the next video and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!